and I think he was the first one to look at that laptop. Weiner and Huma Abedin, his wife, the closest advisor of Hillary Clinton for 20 years, have both flipped.
Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. We've got a slew of new cues, so you know what to do. I'm going to read these through, and if you want to skip through to my analysis, just click on the timestamp below, and magical things may or may not happen to you. Post 1361, 6 minutes after the hour of 11 a.m., Q says, sample, and then we have a link. And then we have another link, and another link, and a link. Then we've got a link, and then we've got a link, and a link. Then we've got another link. We've got a Linky Lincolnston, Linky Lincolnberg, and finally a Linky Lincolnstein. Q says, coordinated, all for a LARP. In brackets, we have attacks will only intensify. Ask yourself why. Q. Post 1362, 22 minutes after the hour of 11 a.m., we have a picture where we go one, we go all. Hashtag the Great Awakening. Do you know? Q.com from Seth Wadley Ford. Looks to be Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. They, in kill brackets, are afraid they are losing control of the message. Where we go one, we go all. Q. Post 1363, 30 minutes after the hour of 11, we have a reference back to post number 74 on the Patriots fight board. And I won't read through that whole thing. I'll let you look at it there. And, of course, a picture from the Korean hostage release. And pointing to the number Q74 in the picture. Q says, image search for fire truck engine, letter common in front of number, post 74. Coincidence? U.S. flag, post in brackets, castle lock, pointed reference, comms understood, Q. Post 1364. We have a couple different graphics here regarding Navy SEAL Erik Prince, and it looks like a interview from Breitbart, and then we've got a Q post from April 8th, and a Q post from November 24th, and then another tweet here from looks like to be like is that Michael Flynn Jr. What does Erik Prince know about the actual content on Weiner's laptop? I heard it's damning. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Reread drops regarding who knows where. Rudy, now comes the pain. Post 1365, adding on to that, Q gives us that post from 419. Rudy, NYC, relationships high, insurance file, quiet until now, join POTUS legal team, direct discussions available now with Mueller. Enjoy the show. They never thought she would lose. Careless, Q. Post 1366, responding to an Anon at, 18 minutes past the hour of 9 p.m. I don't think it would be fair to say that a journalist can't make money when covering Q, but that's the difference. A journalist covering Q isn't necessarily usurping Q. The Patriots in question were trying to usurp Q. This video explains what happened very well. It certainly cleared my head about it all, and there is a link here, and Q responds. Post 1367, 24 minutes after the hour of 9, we have the Punisher logo. Q says, pain coming. Post 1368, 18 minutes after the hour of 10 p.m. Allison Mack, Nexium in brackets, arrested, date in brackets, when does a bird sing? Schneiderman resigns, date in brackets. Coincidence? Eyes wide open. Who will be next? Watch New York City, watch California, Q. Post 1369, a quote from the Declaration of Independence in 1776, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and tragic causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a desire to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Then we have a SoundCloud link, and we have sessions in sort of a reverse brackets, and we fight Q. Post 1370, 32 minutes after the hour of midnight. Why was Preet Bharara fired? Why was the New York AG just removed? Why did Rudy recently join POTUS legal team after being so quiet for so long? What must be cleaned first? Who investigates? Who prosecutes? What can finally be done? Who has the ultimate authority? Does it fall under the Russia recusal? Does Flynn know? Define on the record. You have more than you know. Enjoy the show. Q. And post 1371. 41 minutes past the hour of midnight, Q is responding to an Anon that says the stuff about the NYPD isn't just coming out. I'd heard about that during the campaign, but maybe the public wasn't ready for it yet. No one wanted to believe it then, Q says. Find the two in brackets NYPD detectives 187 mid-2017. Did they view the insurance file? Threats are real. This is not a game. Q. Okay, we're going back to post 1361. 6 minutes past the hour of 11, Q says sample, and then proceeds to barrage us with all these links. And don't worry, you don't want to go through all these links. You want In Pursuit of Truth to bring you the hits, the classic hits like Harper's Magazine's The Wizard of Q. Metro. People are claiming Trump is a secret genius who's only pretending to collude with the Russians. Or how about the Seattle Times hit, the conspiracy theory that says Trump is a genius? Ooh, if you like Independent, conspiracy theory claims Trump is a secret genius who pretended to collude with Russia to defeat child sex traffickers. That's a long title right there. Medium says Roseanne Barr is tweeting about QAnon, a new Pizzagate-style conspiracy theory. And then, of course, Newsweek drops the bomb. How the storm became the biggest fake news story of 2018. What? Well, 2018, it's May. Newsweek, it's May. It's May. You got like 6 more months to come up with something bigger. Come on, Newsweek, so you get the idea. All the mainstream media now is going to tell you Q is false. And anybody who's been following this channel or other channels probably already knew this was coming. We've known this was coming for a while now. Started off on Comedy Central. If you remember, some of you might remember back to my video breaking down the Comedy Central video. The first time we ever saw Q on the mainstream media, they ridiculed it. It wasn't going to make legitimate media. It was going to make Comedy Central media. So that you knew that this stuff was just a joke. It's not serious. But the spin they're going to put on is that it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. This little LARP thing. It's cute at first, but it can become dangerous. And that was the tone of the Comedy Central video. And if you want to see the Comedy Central video, I'm sorry, I don't exactly know where my breakdown was it. Probably a while back. But if you can find the link it's in one of these links, actually, is the Comedy Central video itself. So just cruise through them here and you'll find it. Let's move on to the next post. 1362, we see this picture right here. Where we go one, we go all, The Great Awakening. Do you know Q.com? And it looks to be Paul's Valley, and I believe that's in Oklahoma. Q says they are afraid. They are losing control of the message. Okay, well, as Q just demonstrated with all these links, the mainstream media is going to make sure that, okay, well, we can't keep Q from getting out. We sure can't trip Q up. So here's what we got to do. We got to get out in front of the message and tell everybody that it's fake. We got to ridicule it. We got to confuse them. We got to come up with these strange posts, or maybe we'll just highlight parts of certain posts. And you know how they do it. They edit things to make things sound really silly. And conspiracy theory has always been such an effective term to use. Well, if you go to this, and I'm not going to take you to this site. You can go for yourself if you'd like. I don't find it very worth it. It's doyouknowq.com. And basically what I see is a landing page, and it looks like they took some people's channels, people that follow Q, and they posted them up on a channel. Don't know if they did it with their permission or not. But then below, somebody was selling, you could buy your own Q board for like $500. So if you want a Q board of your own, whatever that means, you can go buy one for $500. Now I'm going to make a counter offer since we're in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. near Seth Wadley Forum. I can make Seth Wadley Ford. I can make a deal. I'm going to read you this post for free. Beat that. All right. So you see what's going on. And it looks to me like the point of a big site like this. Look, whoever made a billboard had some cash. Okay. Maybe not a ton of cash, but look, that's a billboard. It was a big deal. They wanted to promote this site. And you go to this site and you see that you're getting ripped off. And what's that going to do? It's going to upset you. And that's what you're going to remember about the QAnon movement. They're afraid. They're losing control of the message. They're doing everything they can to control it. Good news, folks. All for a LARP? All for a LARP? Remember, Q says attacks will only intensify. Ask yourself why. Because they're going nuts. They're going nuts. They know where this is coming. At the end of this video, we know exactly what we're going to come to. Let's go to post 1363. And this takes you back to, now you'll see this is post number 74 from the Patriots fight page. And I'm going to try and take you back on something here. I'm going to try and do it on this page. This page keeps refreshing. I know a lot of you have said that it's just refreshing. I'm not exactly sure why it's doing it the way it did. Ever since the Patriots fight board came up, this page changes a lot. And it's been a little harder to work with, but it's okay. We'll persist. This post says, fellow Patriots, what you are about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control. Freedom. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt, pure evil, abuse of power that the Hussein administration undertook in joint efforts with domestic and foreign dignitaries. The snowball has begun rolling. There is no stopping it now. D5. Let me stop right there real quick. So many of you back a few days ago when this post came out, let me know that a D5 was maybe relating to an avalanche. And considering he said the snowball has begun rolling, that makes sense. Good call. I'd never heard that before. I think I pointed you to a missile or something like that, a D5. I think it was a Trident missile or something. I don't know. D5. Anyway, good call, folks. Stay the course and trust the plan. Protective measures are in place. Remain brave. We knew this day would come. And then it takes you to this link, and this link was a speech of, President Trump. We've seen this speech many times before, and it's always good to look at. United we stand, worldwide. Where we go one, we go all. We fight. Conspiracy no more. And then it shows you right here. Let me see if I can get it to you. Here's a little bit bigger. There we go. And we see two fire trucks here. One says Q74 in your bottom right part of your screen there. Q74. And then Q asks us, image search for fire truck / engine. Letter common in front of the number. No, it's not. I think for engine trucks, it would be an E. Now, I went to firefighting school, but I was never a civilian firefighter. So, and I know some of you are. So for those of you who are, please let me know, because I'm not 100% sure, but I've never seen a Q. I think maybe E for engine, if it's like one of these trucks. Let me take you to the other picture. Okay, if it's like one of these trucks but doesn't have the ladder, I think it has a letter. And then if it has a ladder, it has a different letter, maybe even L. I don't know. I'm probably sounding really stupid on that, but I think I'm right. And then, different if you're a fire marshal or if you're a medical services or whatever. So they do have designations, but I've never seen Q. And then you have this fire truck over here, which kind of looks like it might be a different department. But there's no Q73 over here or Q75 or, anything related like that. So yeah, look, Q's making the point that this was for you. This was for us to see. And of course, there was the coincidence. Was it a coincidence? It was post 74. Coincidence? And for those of you who are new to Q, these are the coincidences, quote unquote. These are the proofs that we get from Q all the time. And this is what keeps us going. That all for a LARP, folks. You tell me. U.S. flag post, castle lock pointed reference, comms understood. I'll do my best to take you back here because of the refreshing of this page. It's really difficult for me to zoom in on it without it taking me away. But I'm going to take you down to post 1333, and it's right here. Castle lock, Q. And that came right after post 74 that we just read. Okay. Now, castle lock, a lot of people have always assumed that castle is meaning, that we're talking about some sort of communication here. Now, I'm still in the belief that castle is the White House. And I'm assuming that this meant that we've got it under lockdown. And this is why I thought that, because the next post, 1334, we talk about rank and file, DOJ, FBI, CIA, with no longer has the intelligence, and the State Department. That was the order of the takedown, right? Remember, bottom, middle, top. State Department being last. G2, military intelligence collect. SIS, good, okay? So the intel was good. Everything's been collected or whatever. not forgotten, overcome. Now, I want to point something out real quick, and I don't know if I'm on to anything at all, but I just want to take you back, and I don't think that's going to, yes, right here. No, excuse me, not that one. It is right here. Thank you. Post 1012. Our thoughts and prayers are with the 4 U.S. Marines from the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing who lost their lives in yesterday's Southern California helicopter crash. We pray for their families and are great at USMC. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. And in this post, Q says not forgotten. So don't know if it's related or not, but just something that it reminded me of when I read it. Okay, so cool stuff. Another Q proof. And you tell me what you think Castle Lock is. Like I said, I think they're just saying that they got the White House is under lockdown now. And now that they've cleared out all these departments, it's time for the pain. Let's move on. Taking you over here to 1364. 54 minutes past the hour of 8. And we've got these graphics here. Q says, who knows where the bodies are buried? Reread drops regarding who knows where the bodies are buried. And really, a lot of these are the drops. Let me blow it out here. Rudy, now comes the pain. And if I may, I would like to just look at this next post, 1365, because this has the extra graphic here. And this really is regarding the drops, where the bodies are buried. And of course, that's Flynn, right? Flynn knows where the bodies are buried. And this article is talking about Navy SEAL Erik Prince. And he's talking to Breitbart, and he talked to Breitbart, and I'm going to give you that in a second about what he said, but he was talking about what the New York Police Department found. The NYPD wanted to do a press conference announcing the warrants and the additional arrests they were making in the Anthony Weiner investigation, but received huge pushback from the Justice Department. Okay, well, the Justice Department at that time was not yet clean. Now, Q references, or whoever made this graphic, is this an Anon or from Q? Looks like it's from... Yeah, looks like it's from Q. April 8th, we have this post. Pictures leaked for this very moment. Who, what is not pictured. So in April 8th, when we were doing this searching for, we saw No Name, okay? And he was in Syria with Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. You remember? What forces shadowed No Name? What contractors, special contractors, what kind? The kind that Erik Prince has. Blackwater. What was delivered? Who knows? Missiles, weapons, maybe some smiles. Exact location. So, a couple theories here. Either some of these contractors, and I'm sure we have some good contractors and some bad contractors, but could it be that Erik Prince either infiltrated some of these contractors or were there himself and was able to see something and bring back that intel? Keep in mind, Erik Prince has been in Trump's ear for quite a bit, especially regarding going after people who fund Islamic terrorism. This next post here is a link talking about Erik Prince being a CIA asset. And Q says, think double. So, was he a CIA asset, or was he there to get intel for the good guys? Could be either way around. Was he bad and flipped? Was he good the whole time and was there just gathering intel? Why are we confirming this publicly? Because now it's time to move forward. Now it's time. Whoever knows where the bodies are buried is given the information. Erik Prince, incidentally, is related to Betsy DeVos, the Secretary of Education. And that's what this link talks about here on November 24th. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Now again, November 24th, 2017, November 13th, Erik Prince testifies about his meeting in the Seychelles. The map is in front of you. Reread, expand your thinking. Purpose for time being spent here. Okay, so it sounds to me like Flint's got all the information. And now we got this, May 14th, from Michael Flynn Jr. What does Erik Prince know about the actual content on Weiner's laptop? I've heard it's damning. Wow, who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn does. And now Michael Flynn Jr. is talking. Read the drops. Who knows where? We just did. Rudy. Yeah, that's right. Rudy from New York. And he's got the laptop, right? Now comes the pain. Post 1366. I don't think it would be fair to say that a journalist can't make money when covering Q, but that's the difference. A journalist covering Q isn't necessarily usurping Q. The Patriots in question were trying to usurp Q. This video explains what happened very well. It certainly cleared my head about it all. And then there's a link here, and let me just take you to it really quick. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to play his video because it's a little bit long, but this takes you to the YouTube page of a gentleman named, I believe it's Bruce Figert. Figert. Sorry, Bruce, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Okay, and he's got a cool little bunny logo here and stuff, and he breaks down Q stuff as well too. And it's a long video, so I'm not going to play anything for you, but I went over and subscribed. I don't really know the man. I think I caught one of his videos before, but I'm so busy making my videos for you as well, too, so I haven't really seen many. But if you'd like to check out his video, you know, he seems like a charming guy, and he does all this kind of stuff, too. So I subscribed, and we'll see what he's got. And good on you for getting some attention, Bruce. So anyway, do your thing there. But he basically makes the same point, okay? And I think that's what we've all kind of agreed on. So please don't beat people up for if people are, you know, using Patreon or whatever. Look, these videos take a long time and tons of hours, and some people should be making money doing this. It's as long as a lot of people do their full-time job. Really, it is. It's a lot of information, and they're doing it daily. So you know, I think we can kind of pass that out. We were talking about people who were trying to usurp Q, and we kind of called those people out. So we can move on, and Q is acknowledging this, and I think that's great. So now the people that are covering Q or things like it, you know, if they're feeling kind of bad about it or whatever, I think that this kind of can put that to rest. So I'd like to put it to rest too. Moving on. 1367, we get this right here, and this is the Punisher logo. And my original thought on this was that it could be referring to SEAL Team 6. And let me talk about the Punisher real quick. This is off of Marvel.com. This is the Punisher. His real name is Frank Castle, born Castiglione. Born in New York to parents of Italian ancestry, Francis Castiglione is a former U.S. Marine captain. Before Frank joined the Marines, he was studying to become a Catholic priest, but changed his mind because he was unable to forgive those who did evil. Okay, so we got this Frank Castle from New York, and it says here, I don't know much about this story, this particular character. Shortly after a tour in Vietnam, Castle, his wife, Maria, and their children were in New York's Central Park for an afternoon picnic when they witnessed a mafia gangland execution. An informant had been hanged from a tree. Seeking to eliminate all witnesses, the Costa crime family murdered them on the spot. However, Castle survived. Even though Frank was able to identify all the shooters, the police were unable to help Castle in his quest for justice. They were tied in too deeply to the powerful Costa family. He decided that the only punishment criminals might receive is that of a physical destruction. Shortly thereafter, he emblazoned his body armor with the symbol of a death's head and exacted his revenge. Since then, he has waged a one-man war upon crime, taking the name Punisher. Okay, well, I know another guy that's from New York that took on the mob, and that's Mr. Rudy Giuliani. Is Rudy Giuliani our Frank Castle? We will see, but either way, the pain is coming. Dun dun dun. 1368. Now we're talking about Allison Mack. 18 minutes past the hour of 10 p.m. Allison Mack, Nexium, arrested. Date? I believe it was Friday. This article is from Friday, April 20th, and it says that she was arrested Friday morning. So, yeah, I'm going to say Friday, April 20th. When does a bird sing? Oh, this one always drives me nuts. I always thought a bird sings in the spring because it's springtime and it's mating season, and that's why they sing. That doesn't really make sense in this story. Although you could look back, and I guess maybe they were predicting that a bird was going to sing in the spring. I don't know. A bird sings when it's freed. A bird sings when it's caged. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know the answer they're looking for here. I always thought a bird sings in the spring. It's mating season. All right. And then Q is mentioning Erik Schneiderman. And I don't like this guy, so I'm going to say his name like that. Every time I say his name, he resigns. And what date did he resign? Right here. Erik Schneiderman resigns as New York Attorney General amid assault claims by 4 women. This is from the New York Times. And this was May 7th. And he says, I therefore resign my office effective at the close of business on May 8th, 2018. So I don't know about the exact dates, but it just seems to me that obviously this is no coincidence. And we knew this, right? Erik Schneiderman. He's no good guy. Nobody likes Schneiderman. All right. Hits women. And I think we're going to see. Remember, people were saying it was going to be worse than Wiener, what we found out about Schneiderman. And Schneiderman has been super vocal, super major vocal against Trump, right? He's even bragged about it. He was going to help bring him down. He was trying to impeach him. He was just bothering him at every turn. So is Schneiderman singing now because Allison Mack, she brought the whole Nexium thing down, and we've yet to see where that's going. We have tons of companies that we're finding now being related to Nexium, and this is going to be really, really big. Schneiderman, New York. Nexium, New York. Schneiderman blocked the investigation into Nexium. Coincidence? Not at all. Eyes wide open? Yeah, I think of the movie Eyes Wide Open, right? That's probably what this was all about. Insurance files. This eyes wide open, these parties where you go to these parties. Next thing you know, you wake up with a 14-year-old next to you and you're like, what's going on? I just wanted to be mayor. Who will be next? Don't know, but we need to watch New York City, watch California. We've certainly got to watch New York City. Now let's take you to 1369. And this, folks, you should know, is from a certain article, a certain declaration back in 1776. That whenever any form of government, do you like how I clear my throat and then I still sound like I got a box of rocks in my mouth? All right. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. And then we have the SoundCloud link. And the SoundCloud link takes you to the interview with Erik Prince off of Breitbart, November 4th, 2016. Think what you like about Erik Prince. I think the jury's still kind of out. I'm not really sure. And I remember listening to this back in November of 2016. And I thought it was pretty important then. Listening back to it now, it gave me a new perspective. And I'm not going to play it all for you because it's a 20-minute video. And I don't want to... I don't know if there's going to be any copyright issues with Breitbart or not, but I suggest you listen to it. At least listen to the first half. The second half's interesting too, but the first half will probably be sort of the most telling. And a lot of you who have heard it, it won't be anything new, but it might give you a slight different perspective just knowing what you know now. Okay, but he's talking about the files. He's talking about the laptop. Okay, he's talking about the situation. He's talking about who's singing. And I'm going to let Erik do the talking for himself. Q says, Sessions, we fight, and we got these brackets, but these brackets are open. Does that mean Sessions is free now? Sessions is no longer burdened by this corrupt Department of Justice system. Okay? Sessions can move, and now it's time for us to fight. Post 1370, why was Preet Bharara fired? Well, let's stop right there and let's kind of talk about that here. Preet Bharara, let's see, where is he? Here he is. This is off the New York Times. And this is from March 11, 2017. U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara says he was fired after refusing to quit. The call to Preet Bharara's office from President Trump's assistant came on Thursday. Would Mr. Bharara, the United States Attorney in Manhattan, please call back? The following day, Mr. Bharara was one of 46 United States attorneys appointed by President Barack Obama asked to resign and to immediately clean out their offices. The request took many in his office by surprise because, in a meeting in November, Mr. Bharara was asked by the then president-elect to stay on. Mr. Bharara refused to resign. On Saturday, he announced on Twitter that he had been fired. It was unclear whether the president's call on Thursday was an effort to explain his change of heart about keeping Mr. Bharara or to discuss another matter. The White House would not comment on Saturday. However, there are protocols governing a president's direct contact with federal prosecutors, according to two people with knowledge of the events who were not authorized to discuss delicate conversations publicly. Mr. Bharara notified an advisor to the Attorney General Jeff Sessions that the president had tried to contact him and that he would not respond because of those protocols. Mr. Bharara then called Mr. Trump's assistant back to say he could not speak with the president, citing the protocols. Mr. Bharara was a highly public prosecutor who relished the spotlight throughout more than 7 years in office. He pursued several high-profile cases involving Wall Street, and he was in the midst of investigating fundraising by Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York, and preparing to try former top aides to the governor of New York, Andrew M. Cuomo, who were both Democrats. It was not immediately clear how his departure would affect those cases and others that were pending. Mr. Bharara stayed quiet until Saturday afternoon. Then on his personal Twitter account, he wrote, "I did not resign. Moments ago, I was fired." Referring to the Southern District of New York, he continued, "Being the U.S. Attorney in SDNY will forever be the greatest honor of my professional life." Okay, so a little bit of mystery as to why that happened. He was kind of invited to stay on, and then he was asked to resign, and he wouldn't resign, so he got fired. And I want to turn and let you know, too, that if you listen to the Breitbart interview with Erik Prince is going to mention Preet Bharara. And keep in mind that would have been before 2017, the article that I just read you. Okay, so maybe they weren't quite sure about him either. What did he know? Southern District of New York. That's Manhattan, right? That's Trump's stomping grounds. Why was the New York Attorney General just removed? New York, he was blocking the NXIVM investigation, and the NXIVM investigation is important. And remember, that's Eric Schneiderman. Why did Rudy recently join POTUS legal team after being so quiet for so long? Because Rudy's got the laptop. Rudy's got the high connections. Remember? Rudy's got the high connections. Remember right here. Relationships high, insurance file, quiet till now, join POTUS legal team, direct discussions available now with Mueller. Yeah, Mueller, you don't have a case anymore. What are you going to do? Sit back, enjoy the show. They never thought she would lose. What must be clean first? Well, we just talked about that. We've been talking about that for a while. The FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, and the State Department. Who investigates? The FBI. Who prosecutes? The DOJ. What can finally be done? Grand juries? Prosecution? Testimony? Indictments? Investigations? Who has the ultimate authority? God. How about benevolent aliens? Chuck Norris, President Trump, Jeff Sessions. Maybe we'll go with Jeff Sessions for now. Ultimate authority, does it fall under the Russia recusal? Ooh, I'm kind of kicking around this question. I'm not sure. I'm going to say no. Jeff Sessions recused himself from anything that had to do with the Russia investigation. Remember, recused himself. He wasn't able to talk about that, but it allowed other people to use evidence. Does Flynn know? You bet he knows. He knows where the bodies are buried. We've been talking about it this whole video. Define on the record. On wax. You put it down. They know about it. It's there. Bam. Boom. Hit record. Hit stop, and you got it. You have more than you know. It looks like we've got something else that we're missing. What else are we not looking at here? Q says, enjoy the show. Finally here, post 1371. In response to an Anon that says, the stuff about the NYPD isn't just coming out. I'd heard about that during the campaign. Yeah, that was the interview. But maybe the public wasn't ready for it yet. No one wanted to believe it then. Of course not. We weren't ready for that yet. People were still thinking that Trump was going to destroy this nation. This crazy, unstable genius was just going to start pushing buttons and putting us into nuclear war. And now we've got no Paris Accord. Now we're out of the Iran deal. North Korea denuclearized. Armenia has got their country back. Let's hope. Let's hope. We'll see what happens for now. Lots of good stuff happened. No one wanted to believe it then. Q says, find the two NYPD detectives. 187, mid-2017. Well, I've not yet found much on this, and to be honest with you, I haven't gone on a deep search as far as mid-2017, but this was a detective that died in February of 2016. His name is Robert Lasada, beloved investigator and retired NYPD detective, dies at 59. And I only want to point out one thing right here, because it's the only thing that's mentioned about his death. Capers and his staff are struggling to recover from a devastating blow suffered earlier this week. Losada, 59, affectionately known as Bobby, died unexpectedly on Monday. And then the rest of the article says nothing about it. The Richmond resident, a criminal investigator for the Brooklyn Federal Prosecutor's Office, and a retired NYPD detective sergeant, not only worked on all the office's terrorism investigations, he watched over his colleagues with the tenacity of a mother bear. So, don't know, that might have been too early. And I remember a very interesting shooting of an officer. Her name was Miocitis Familia. I think that's correct. She was a police officer, but she wasn't a detective. And I think he was asking about detectives. Yeah, find the two detectives. And I'm sorry, they don't. But it clearly is. I don't know who they are, but Q is clearly saying that they must have viewed the insurance file, and that's probably what happened. So if you know who they were, please share it. That would be great. And thankfully, it's not really probably crucial to this story, although I'm sure it's very crucial to their families, and we want to make sure that we honor that too. So, and Q is saying threats are real. This is not a game, and I think we're all starting to see that this is getting really, really serious. Okay, that's all I've got for you. So, is Rudy going to be our punisher? Are we going to start finding out what's on this laptop? Watch New York City. Watch California, and we'll see how it all turns out. Those are your Q posts. If you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. YouTube will always uncheck you, unclick you, and make sure that you and I can't be together. But you know what? We can. We got a special connection. Do you feel it? I feel it too. And if you don't feel it, you can feel it over on Gab. I'm over here too, in case YouTube does screw it all up. We can go hang out over here on Gab. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Those are your Q posts. If anything else pops up, I will do my best to be all over it when I can get my head wrapped around it. And until next time, stay cool.